Today, we are settling one of the ultimate high-speed debates. We're putting two of the most elite operators on the entire planet head-to-head, the Formula One driver and the fighter pilot. I mean, think about it. On one side, you've got the F1 driver basically threading a carbon fiber needle at over 200 miles per hour. And on the other, the fighter pilot, making life or death calls faster than the speed of sound. So, who's really quicker when it all comes down to it? All right, let's get into it. You've seen the start of a Grand Prix, right? Those 5 red lights go out, and in just 200 milliseconds, that's literally the time it takes you to blink. That driver has seen it, processed it, and is launching a multi-million-dollar rocket off the grid. It is an absolutely stunning display of pure speed. But then, you've got the fighter pilot. At twice the speed of sound, a missile lock isn't just a signal you react to. No, it's an existential problem that demands an immediate and perfect response. There's no time for hesitation. A split-second delay is the difference between coming home and not. So to even begin to settle this, we have to put them on the clock. Let's look at the cold, hard numbers. Just how fast is fast, anyway? Well, for some context, your average person's reaction time to seeing something is about a quarter of a second or 250 milliseconds. You can go try one of those reaction tests online. That's probably right where you'd land. And it feels pretty fast, right? But in the worlds we're talking about today, that's an eternity. See, both F1 drivers and fighter pilots are operating on a completely different neurological level. Their reaction times are consistently way below 200 milliseconds, and some of the absolute best, the elite of the elite, are pushing down into sub-150 millisecond territory. That is nearly twice as fast as you or me.
And you can see this play out in the real world. I mean, take Valtteri Bottas's legendary start back in 2017. The time from the lights going out to his car physically moving was just 201 milliseconds. It was so fast people thought he jumped the start. And then you have someone like Fernando Alonso, who averages a mind-bending 160 milliseconds. These aren't just good numbers. This is the absolute edge of what humans are capable of. And, the way we measure this is super important. It's called perception response time, or PRT. This isn't just how fast you see something. It measures the entire loop, from the moment your eyes see the lights go out, to the brain sending the signal, to the muscles actually starting to move. It's the whole circuit.
But, okay, here's the twist. On paper, on the clock, they seem neck and neck, but those raw numbers, they only tell half the story. The real difference here isn't just about how fast they react, but how they're able to do it. We have to go beyond the blink.
This quote from a veteran fighter pilot, it just completely reframes the whole debate. In these kinds of environments, if you are simply reacting to something that's already happened, you're already behind. You're already lost. The real skill, it's something else entirely. And that skill is what we call anticipatory awareness. It's the uncanny ability to sense what is about to happen before it actually does. Through thousands and thousands of hours of practice, their brains have been literally rewired to spot these tiny patterns and cues, which lets them not just wait for something to happen, but to already be moving to meet it.
So how in the world do they do it? Well, they're constantly running these if-then scenarios in their head. They scan for cues, the angle of another car, a tiny blip on the radar. They predict the most likely outcome. They actually preload the physical movement in their muscles, and then they execute the instant that prediction becomes real. It's like they're living a fraction of a second in the future. And we see these amazing techniques in action. An F1 driver actually trains to suppress their own blinks because at 210 miles an hour, a single 200 millisecond blink means you travel over 60 feet completely blind. They learn to look through the corner to where they want to be. And it's the same for a pilot who's in this constant loop of predictive scanning, instruments, canopy, radar, back again, building a mental map of what's coming. They're both using their vision to see not just what is, but what will be.
And you want to know how finely tuned this whole system is? Get this. In a test with Lando Norris, they found that just changing the color of the padding inside his helmet, something that only affects the very edges of his peripheral vision, could change his reaction speed by up to 10%. That's how sensitive this incredible biological machine is.
But here's the thing. All of this incredible mental gymnastics, it's not happening in a quiet, comfortable lab. It's happening while their bodies are being put through some of the most brutal physics imaginable. Reacting is one thing. Doing it while surviving the machine, that's a whole other level. let's talk G-forces. They're both immense, but they are profoundly different. A pilot might pull up to 9 Gs, that's 9 times their body weight, but it's a vertical force, straight down, in short, violent bursts. The big danger there is G-lock, where blood is literally forced out of your brain and you black out. An F1 driver, though, sustains 5 to 6 Gs laterally, from side to side, for an entire 90-minute race. For them, the threat is just sheer muscular failure. It's why they need neck muscles strong enough to hold up their own head plus a bowling ball. And their hearts, they're pushed to the absolute limit. An F1 driver's heart rate can spike to over 190 beats per minute and stay there. That is a marathon runner's heart rate, but they sustain it for almost 2 hours straight. A pilot's will also spike during combat, for sure, but that continuous physical strain on the F1 driver is just relentless. And as if that wasn't enough, they're battling the environment itself. The F1 cockpit is an oven hitting 140 degrees Fahrenheit. The fighter pilot has to deal with the constant risk of hypoxia, not enough oxygen at high altitude. And through it all, both of them are flooded with stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline, keeping them in this state of hyper-alertness that is just physically and mentally draining. So after looking at the raw numbers, the neuroscience, and the brutal physics, what's the final verdict here? Who actually has the faster reactions? Well, the truth is, it depends on how you define fast. If we're talking about pure, raw, reflexive speed to a single clear signal, like the lights going out, the F1 driver probably has the edge. Their entire job is a non-stop, 2-hour flow of hundreds of these tiny millisecond adjustments. But if we expand the definition to include complex, multi-sensory decisions under insane pressure, the fighter pilot is in a class of their own. They have to process a flood of data from all over to make one single, perfect decision that means life or death. So one is a master of continuous reflexive flow, and the other is a master of explosive tactical precision. And really, that's the ultimate takeaway here. Whether it's on the track or in the sky, we are witnessing the absolute peak of human performance. It just goes to show you, when you're pushing the very limits of speed, the most sophisticated and advanced piece of technology isn't the engine or the wings. It's the incredible biological system right there in the seat.